Welcome to another episode of One-on-One with Mitch Lafon. Joining me this week from Deep Purple and Black Sabbath fame, it is bassist Glenn Hughes. We talk about his recent knee surgery, his past heart surgery, will Black Country Communion return, his induction to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and a lot more. So here, without further ado, the one, the only, the always wonderful Mr. Glenn Hughes. We are speaking with Glenn Hughes. Glenn, it is absolutely always a pleasure to speak with you. It's been many, many years.
Same here.
Yeah, I met you through Kevin Dubrow, actually, years and years ago, and just a great man, and it was a great introduction to be able to get to know you through Kevin.
Oh, thank you so much. I miss Kevin so much.
Yeah. Absolutely. And but let's talk about you and this tour. You've got this tour set up for August, but you were supposed to be on the road right now, and then you had this surgery on the knees.
Yeah, well, let's clear this up. And you know, it's pretty straightforward. If you were to Google how long it would take for full recovery of knee replacements, it's going to tell you 6 months. And I'm 64, but I'm very healthy and I'm very fit, and I have a pretty intense cardio regime, although I can't run at the moment. But I am a healthy man, but I also am very realistic. So after the second operation, which was more gnarly than the first one, I called my manager and we had a good talk about, is it worth me going out there and risking messing one of my knees up, or let's just say I have fall down or something, and it's like I wanted to be very, very recovered to play to my fans and to travel and get on the bus and stuff. I am a very fit guy and I really do love to travel, and so we decided it probably would be better to do a proper full show where I can actually move properly and do what I need to do to recover. So we decided we would just postpone till August. I really want to say sorry to anybody out there that bought tickets, but your tickets are still valid, still good. Everything's great. So we'll see you in August. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, and August, of course, is a great month. A couple of years back, you also had a surgery on an aortic valve, a heart surgery. I've had heart surgery myself. Has that impacted you at all? Has that slowed you down?
Yes.
Okay.
It's impacted me in a way that I didn't know how it would affect me. Physically, I feel better, of course. I didn't discuss my heart problems with the world until after I had my surgery, and that would have been a good 7 or 8 months afterwards. That got leaked out very strangely to Gary Graff at Billboard, who I denied it to.
Right.
It got leaked out, and I just, Mitch, I didn't want to discuss my surgery with the world. I just think it was private, and just for my wife and I, my mom and dad to know. And then I had to talk about it, and I still don't like to talk about it because it was a fucking horrible.
Oh, I can appreciate that.
Experience. Pardon?
I can appreciate it. My second one was March 6th of 2015, a year ago, and it was...
What?
Oh, yeah. And it was 9 weeks of absolute hell. It was awful. My entire March and April...
You mean have they opened you up?
Well, they did something called cryoablation, where they go through...
Okay.
They go through the groin, and then they up into the heart, and then they freeze part of the heart.
Okay, I get it.
But at the same time, I got a massive flu, and I got the flu right after the surgery, and it was just
So so I can certainly respect that it's a private thing.
Oh man, look. So
but I feel
right?
sympathetic when I see Heart. I feel sympathetic, which is why I asked you about it because, it ain't fun.
Yeah, well, I've never really talked about what happened. Well, I can tell you the history of my heart.
Okay.
My heart.
Okay.
When I was a little boy, I had a heart murmur.
Okay.
And when I got sober all those years ago, when people get sober, they start changing their lives and they start, working out, eating less, going to the doctor, doing things. And we found out in the early 90s that I had my aorta was enlarged.
Right.
And just so you know, and I think you might know this, that an average male's aorta is 2.7 centimeters.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
So, around 2001, mine was like 3.5. And over the course of the years, it's been going up and up and up. So 3 years ago, they measured it at 5.5, which is, that's the number which is operable, which is like, it's time to now go in. And I tried to do it like what you did, your version.
Right.
But so jump further forward to that. So the next 6 months, after I got it done in February, then I went with Kings of Chaos and Slash was, and Duff and Matt and Miles. We went to Africa. And it was the end of the last show, and I was with Slash and his wife, and we're having a nice dinner. And all of a sudden, my heart started really fluttering, and I don't know if you can relate to this, I became very, very calm. I wasn't frightened. I just went. There was obviously God was looking out for me because I asked to be excused. I didn't tell them what was wrong. I said I need to go to my room real quick. I'll be back later. I never came back. We travel with a doctor. So I called the doctor up in his room and I said, meet me in my room. He said, what for? I said, just come down. And he obviously, put his clothes on, came down. And there I was, and he felt my heart, and he was like, professionally told me, what's going on here? And I told him my story. And it's really, really rapidly beating, and he gives me some medication to calm me down, and I'm thinking, surely I'm going to have to go to hospital here. And all of a sudden, after about 45 minutes, those 45 minutes went by real quick. My heart went back to normal. Then he got on the phone to my cardiologist in Los Angeles and told him, and just so happened the next day when I got up, I was flying home. So when I got home, I went home. The next morning I went to see my cardiologist, and he put me on a heart monitor for a week. And when he took the heart monitor off, he told me the real size of my aorta was 7.2.
Oh, my.
Now, John Ritter, you remember John Ritter from Three's Company?
Yes, of course. Of course. I grew up on that show. That was my favorite show.
Well, I don't know if you know this, Mitch.
But he had a heart.
He died of an aortic...
Yes. A bleeding or a rupture. Right.
Yeah, he died before he hit the deck. Now, when they did the autopsy, they took his heart out, and his aorta was 6.1.
So smaller than yours.
Now, I'm not trying to be grandiose by saying, hey, man, mine was 7.2. All I'm saying was, God was obviously, call him what you want, I'm calling him God here, was watching out for me because I was in a complete state of calmness. So shortly after they took the monitor off, they got the team of doctors together, the one I wanted from LA, and we went in and did this on my birthday of 2013, 21st of August, on my birthday. But we made a decision not to tell the world. Because it was, I didn't want people, breathing down my neck, and I wanted to be really calm and stay that way, and my wife's that way. And this wasn't going to sell any records, Mitch. It was just, I just wanted to get well. So, and after the surgery, the recovery was a good 8, 9, 10 weeks.
Yep.
During the time in the operating room and in recovery, there was a problem with my heart, and they had to ask Gabby to leave the room while they patted me, like, stand clear, It wasn't like I was going to die, but my heart was really slowing down. This is something that I didn't ever want to tell anybody, but it got leaked out. I don't know why, and I'm really upset with that.
Well, I apologize for bringing it up. I apologize for bringing it up. I apologize for bringing it up.
No, because it's that since then, and since I have become calmer and mellow. I hate that word mellow, but I just become mellow,
Or at ease.
And say again, Mitch.
I said you've become at ease with it.
I have become at ease, but I'll say this again, and I don't care who's reading this or who hears this about when I use the word God. I don't care what people think of me. None of my business what people think of me. My business is to still be here and be a loving person. I know that when I had that operation, I came to, and I was in recovery, and I was in a complete state of calmness. The only word I can use is calm. I am overall a very high energy dude, and I'm really anxious and I'm full of life. But after the operation, the recovery was very, very mellow. Nobody knew what was going on. I really wanted to keep it secret. So, and now I'm feeling great. It's if I had not have gotten sober, I would not have had a cardiologist, because let's be clear, people that do drugs and drink heavily don't go to cardiologists because they don't want to know what the fuck is wrong with them.
Right, and they don't care.
So
I do want to ask you about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but if I may, if I can just do a follow-up question, and if you don't want to answer, we'll just move along. But if you knew you had a flutter when you were a young child and stuff, and you got into cocaine in the 80s and all that, did nothing in the back of your head say, hey, wait a minute, if I'm going to do a drug, this is the wrong one given my heart condition?
I think that all the signals were there. When you become look, Mitch, when I was a young boy, I didn't pull on my mother's skirt and go, hey, I want to be an addict or a drunkard. When I started to do these little, once a week toot things, when I joined Purple, it was just a little cocaine here, just a little tiny bit. And then, of course, come 94 into 95, I'm now doing more than a bit, not even thinking about the consequences of having a heart murmur, because little did I know, but I was becoming addicted, thinking I can stop this when I'm 30. And, of course, I couldn't, and it was like debilitating, and I was becoming famously known as the guy that did the coke, and me and David Crosby and Richard Pryor, that LA group of guys, all they do is sniff coke, and it really just wasn't about that. I was embarrassed by the whole thing. And my cocaine addiction is famous.
Yes.
But
and
my
your
recovery is also... Pardon?
And your heart during all those years, you never had episodes because...
No.
Okay.
No, I never... I had people around me have seizures, and smoking crack, and a lot of people. I've been in a lot of rooms, even in my house. People were like dropping in stuff, and getting off cocaine was the best thing I ever did. Staying sober is the best thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
I've never tried to play catch up. But I'll say this, having this operation, we can move to something else in a minute. Having the operation with my heart and having the new aorta has really changed my psychology about life and about people and about love itself. Yeah. You probably see me on the internet. I'm always talking about love and stuff, blah, 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 blah.
Yes.
But
and
I'm not
animals.
a hate guy. I'm just not that guy. And I say again, Mitch, none of my business what general public or people in general say about me or write about me, as long as I know I'm doing the right things in life and the good stuff. And I surround myself with loving, nurturing people. You know, it's really quite simple.
Yeah, and I'll finish on the hard part with this. You know, when I was 29 is when I started getting this atrial fibrillation, and believe me, I haven't had a drink since then. I never did drugs, but knowing that came on, I never had the force or whatever. I never thought of, it scared the hell out of me. Yeah. So just to hear that through the 80s, you knew about
atrial fibrillation. Isn't it horrible?
It is, but I had this surgery twice now, and I haven't been on any pills in a year. So, hey, we'll see where it goes. All right, let's move on.
Well, that's great.
Yeah. Oh, it's great. I feel great. It is great to not be on any pills. It's very liberating.
Any like warfarin or
nothing,
stuff like that. And,
no Xarelto, no warfarin, no whatever the heart pills were called. I don't even remember what they were called at this point. No, nothing. Not even aspirin. Nothing.
Eliquis.
What was the heart pills
called?
That's
good. So you off the aspirin. That's good.
Everything. I take nothing now. So, it's great.
That's fantastic.
All right.
By the way, I never went on to pain. I never went. When they open your heart, when they open you up, I was worried that I'd be prescribed pain medication. But the great thing about this is weird. This is like the biggest operation you can possibly have, right?
Absolutely.
And you'd think they're gonna, give you the pain meds. No. They want you to do it with Tylenol.
Yes.
In fact, there's a reason why you have to do it with Tylenol, because I've never done pain medication simply because of the consequences that some people just they can never get off those damn things.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I've been very blessed with that.
I don't know if it's a new medical protocol, but years ago I had a hernia operation, and they put me on the Percocet and the OxyContin and the whole thing, and then a few years later, I had the exact same surgery, and they said, "Oh no! In Quebec, the new protocol is Tylenol." And I was like, "You're kidding me, right?"
Well, that's the way it's been in Los Angeles. With the team of doctors I have, they all also. I tell everybody before I go in, all the doctors I work with, I've got like 10 doctors in LA. Don't give me pain medication. And they all know that I'm in the program. They all know I'm in AA and stuff like that. And so, I am truly blessed. The recovery with my knees is now So let's go back to talking about the recovery with the knees.
Yeah, the recovery with the knees. But let's move on to music. And I do want to get to the Hall of Fame, but I want to sort of keep that as the last thing. I want to ask you about Black Country Communion. You had you had these great albums. Everybody was excited. The shows were doing well. And, I know Joe has his own career, and he was doing the solo thing. Why was it not possible to simply Joe recuse himself, and you get Doug Aldrich, or you get somebody else, and just keep the name and keep the brand and stay with Jason and Derek? And it was a decision, and I have to say this to you, Mitch, and because this is the truth, and if you speak to Joe, you'll probably agree. Joe and I, man to man, never, ever fell out. Never had a bad word for each other. Right.
The problem was with Black Country is that we wanted to continue, and Joe, bless him, has an amazing solo career.
Absolutely.
A truly amazing. He works his fucking ass off. Us three wanted to play more. But Joe told us, kind of going into it, this is Black Country Communion is like another thing. I'm a solo artist. I'm young. I've got a long career, but simply because the albums were we thought they were great.
They were.
And we thought, we thought we should play some shows, and we all thought genuinely that Joe would want to play more, and it didn't happen. And we had to walk away we had to just back away. And like I say, the band broke up, and then 3 months later, Joe's at my 60th birthday party, and it's like we never, the press thought that, look, I did, Mitch, because you spoke to me.
Yes.
I was the only member of the band in 3 albums and three albums and 1 live DVD. I was the only member of the band that spoke to the press, and not just on the phone, in person in Europe. And the guy that does the talking is the guy that's going to get,
right,
comments on. All I was trying to do was to just hope that BCC would never break up. And unfortunately, it did.
Yeah.
And we had to move on with it. But as I listen to the music now, I listen to how incredible not just the songs are, but the way we played, the production, Joe's and my voice together, the enthusiasm, the emotion, all of that stuff really brings it back home to me, how wonderful that band is. I say is.
Yes.
Black Country Communion will be the only band, will be the last band I play in. I think that after that band, I did California Breed, which was really a great record.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was just a difficult Beatle to tour with. Black Country Communion is just you can't better it for classic rock music. It's so damn good. And I listened to those records, and you need to know that we're all friends,
right?
And long may that remain.
Yeah, and I guess the point I was getting to is why not just keep the brand and replace Joe? Because I don't think Joe would have minded if you guys had stayed together.
No, I don't think Joe would have minded either.
Right.
But I minded it.
Okay, that's the answer. Okay.
As much. So Glenn Hughes came up with the name. Yeah, so big deal.
Okay.
Black Country Communion is 4 guys. Now, to be honest with you, if they would have replaced me, I would have been hurt. If I would have left and they replaced me, I kind of would have been hurt because I created it, And Joe is, I know, really proud of his work in BCC. It's a hard pill to swallow that when he didn't want to tour anymore after Afterglow, but we had to get over it. And I just have I only remember the great stuff, the great music. We had a lot of fun together.
Yeah, and you had some great shows.
There's nothing going to stop Joe from doing what he's doing with his solo career because he's having a great career, and I think it's great that he's doing well.
Yeah, and so do I.
Hey, the world needs BCC. They can listen to the music, and it's there. It's fucking there, man. It's historic. I'm really proud of it.
Right, but we need more. We need a 4th and a 5th and a 6th album. You can't.
You honestly, Kevin Shirley called me in 2013. No, this is Kevin and I, not Joe and I. Kevin and I,
right.
Talking about, hey, can we make another record? I said, well, I've got California Breed now. I don't even Joe knows that I had a conversation with Kevin. I said, I think it's the wrong time right now. So, we'll have to just see what happens as we go along. I'm now, as you know, touring solo and with new management, new agent. Whereas before Black Country, Mitch, when we were talking 10 years ago,
mm-hmm.
I had a really great man managing me, a really good human being. But he wasn't the manager that I should have had.
Right.
So now with the Black Country Communion doing really well and California Breed following up, that did really well.
Yep.
You know, we had three number one albums with Black Country and one number one album in England with Cali Breed. It's like made my solo career now easier to go back to, and I can play anywhere I want to play now. Like playing in America, it means everything to me. Smaller venues, yes, in August, but I'm going to play the country I live in, and long may that continue.
Oh, I fully agree. So let's talk about playing this Rock and Roll Hall of Fame thing. There is a Deep Purple that is going to play, and the band as it is now. David Coverdale, yourself, Richie Blackmore. I don't want to say you're just going to be spectators, but you're just going to be spectators.
No, I know, Mitch. I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to tell you what I know and what I don't know.
Okay.
What I don't know, and this is a typical Deep Purple thing, is that you just never know until you know. I completely understand what Ian Gillan is saying. David and I are going to go up there and accept our awards gracefully. If we get word between now and then that we will be offered to join in, then we will probably will. But it is what it is. I say it again. I'm so honored to be part of that band and to accept an award with David, the only guy in Deep Purple that I have any real relationship with. We've never, ever not been friends. We've been friends now for over 40 years, and I love him to pieces. And I see Ian Pace when I'm in the UK. I was seeing John quite a bit before he passed. Spoke to Richie a couple of months ago. So, the doors are opening, closing, blah, blah, blah. The Deep Purple thing, we're the only band that we wanted to make a Mark III reunion, John and I and David. We just couldn't figure out how to get a hold of Richie. It's too late now. You can't do a Mark III without John.
I agree.
And it's like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. This is the way I feel about it. I'm gonna say my bit, sit in that seat, and what happens after that, I have no freaking idea.
I have no clue. Now, I do see that we're running.
I might get to New York. Huh?
I was just going to say, I do see that we're running out. I said I see that we're running out of time, so I do want to ask you.
We can talk a little more because it's okay.
Okay, good.
Look, man, David and I would love to play if we get invited. If we don't get invited, I can say this to you honestly: we will not be upset or freak out or make idiots out of ourselves. No. Those days are over. Deep Purple, the band itself is getting inducted, and we're all gracious. I wish Joe Satriani, and I wish Joe Linterna, and Nick Simp. I can't believe Nick's not getting in, and Steve and Don were getting in, but I don't call the shots. Deep Purple aren't calling the shots. It's the board who, every year, Mitch, a band gets gypped by somebody or somebody gets missed out and nobody can understand it. And we're having it now with Deep Purple. Those of us who are getting inducted are very, very honored.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the famous one recently was Kiss, where all hell broke loose because they didn't take all the different members. But, listen, it's the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We talked about David Coverdale, and I've been curious because, you did the Burn album, you're friends with him. Why has there not been a Hughes Coverdale or a Coverdale Hughes album?
Here's why. This is why. David and I spoke with John about 7 years ago, and it was David's idea. The only way he could see he and I singing together to make an impact, like a global impact, was to do it behind a Deep Purple banner, which would have meant at least two of the guys from Deep Purple in a band called Deep Purple or Mark III, if you want. So David and I have spoke about singing together on the record or something at one point, but his career he's flying right now. He's just on fire. He's doing everything he feels he needs to do, and we are so good friends. He stands behind me, I stand behind him. I really do believe in what happens is going to happen. And sometimes it happens out of the blue, It really does.
Because I think it would be magical.
It would be. Look, when I walked on stage in Beverly Hills with him like last spring, I just walked in the door and he offered me the microphone. He said, "You want to do this?" I said, "Well," I said to myself, "Well, I look like a fool if I didn't sing with him because I love him, number one, and he wants me to sing You Keep On Moving." It's like we wrote it together. And as I look at the footage, I can see how close and how trusting we are as friends and how well we work as vocalists. It really is a great. I think he and I, in that period of time, in the good old days, we were the only band that had two lead singers that pulled it off, that created that, that image and visual. And, you had Frito Night and you had Humble Pie with all the things, everybody having a sing. But me and David had a certain vibe, and making those albums was so much fun.
Yeah, there was a certain swagger. Now, I do want to be respectful of your time, so I'll just throw out two questions, answer them in the order that you want. Why do you think it took Deep Purple so long to get into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? And then also the album Burn. What is it about that album that's just so, and I'm just going to use the word magical. I mean, it just, all the parts fit in the right place, and it's just, what is it, 40, 45 years, 42 years later, and it's just
the way
magical.
I see it is this, and this is probably going to make sense to you. Remember after Machine Head was a huge it was a number one record. I don't know what happened within Mark II on Who Do You Think We Are? That Woman from Tokyo was a standout track. So it's like, what happened after Machine Head? Where did they take their feet off the gas or something? Mm-hmm. I'm not sure. So Mark III, we didn't follow Machine Head. We followed Who Do You Think We Are? So, and you've got David Coverdale, who's brand new, spanking brand new, and you've got me, who's been working for 3 years with Trapeze on the road, and Richie felt like it was a brand new band where he would, have breakfast with us and we'd go down the pub together, because that never happened in Mark II. Richie was Richie, a genius guitar player. But I think with David and I coming in, it gave the band new legs. The album wrote itself. It was such an honor to write that album in that castle. It was a real honor, and it was a big moment. I think if I'm correct, the Burn is the second largest studio record after Machine Head, so we're very respectful of that.
Yeah, I believe that. And listen, the song Burn, you've been singing it for 42 years now, and it still sounds fresh and energetic. And David just did it on his Whitesnake Purple album, and it still sounded fresh and energetic. It's just a perfect rock song. It's just perfect.
I've been blessed. In my opinion, this is my opinion, not yours, Trapeze, Purple, and Black Country Communion, I can't really call, working with Tony Iommi was a really, really beautiful thing for me, but I was never really in Black Sabbath,
Right.
But I think Black Country Communion, Purple, and Trapeze are my three loves as far as bands. I would never really want to form another band after those three, because it's like, I just rather stay solo. You know, I've done all the good work in those bands, and I remember the music I made in those bands, and I'm honored to be part and play with incredible, you know, Joe, Derek, and Jason. There was no greater four-piece than us at that time, and long may that live.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we'll just finish with this. Why do you think it took the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame so long to wake up?
Oh, I don't know. It's ridiculous.
It is.
Look, you know, I mean, I know all the rock and roll guys. We all live here in LA, and we all ask the same question. I mean, I'm going to be with Jerry at Control on Saturday. It's like, when are they going to get in?
Well, yeah, I mean, you look like a band.
They're going to get in. It's like, I know it's. Pardon?
I was just going to say, I mean, you look like a band like Rob Halford, one of the greatest metal singers, and Judas Priest. They influenced all kinds of music.
Yeah, well, they're legible. I mean, Christ, they've been gone. They've been playing. Yeah. Oh my God, they opened for us in Purple right at the end. So, I can't. You know, man, when you say that, it beggars belief that Rob and Glenn and the guys on in the hall, you know, when I was in Japan when I heard the news of the induction, and this is the fourth nomination we've had in 7 years, I just thought, it's never going to fucking happen. I'm not going to lose any sleep. All I was concerned about, Mitch, truly, really truly was, the fans have been taking a beating. Us, the members of the band, weren't, you know, look, sure we'd like to be honored at the Hall of Fame. It's a great induction. But the fans have taken a beating. This award, my award, absolutely, Glenn Hughes' award, absolutely dedicated to the fans. 100%, and Tommy Bolin.
Yes, absolutely.
If I could share it with him, I would cut it in half.
Absolutely. You know, anyway, there'll be a lot of discussions about why Judas Priest is not there and Iron Maiden and stuff, but at least they finally got it right with Deep Purple. It took a while, but...
Oh, it got it right. It's really good for us now because we're getting older, you know, and with Keith Emerson last week, I mean, I've lost 7 friends this year, the same guys that you know. We're losing our generation of rock and metal icons, and it worries me, man. It really worries me that you just round the corner, you just never know what's going to happen. Yeah. And again, I know there's a lot of talk on the internet and people blabbing on and blah 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 blah. But you know something, man? Love is the only answer. You know, I'm just not a hateful person. I'm just really grateful to still be breathing on my own on the right side of the grass.
Yeah, and I fully agree with that. And I want to be respectful of your time, so I won't. I'll stop there, and I'll just say last thing. I know you do all these things with these animals. We just adopted a rescue about a month ago, and so in your spirit,
right.
I went. Hey, Glenn would be happy with that. So we've now got 2.
Very much. I'm just looking at my 5 right now. They're all wanting their dinner.
Yeah. So
we just lost one about a month ago, which was devastating. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
We're involved with a lot of animal charities. My wife and I are crazy about it. And like I said before, the things that have changed since the heart operation have been really good for me spiritually and soulfully. I've just slowed down. I don't want to be 25. I've been 25, and it sucked. I'm really doing much better at this point, and my mom and dad are still with us, and I have a lot of great family and friends, and I love rock music, man. I'm never turning my back on rock music.
Yeah, absolutely. Glenn, a great pleasure. Thank you. Thank you for all your time.
Mitch, always a pleasure, and I'll speak to you soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Have a good day, brother.
Bye-bye now.
And there you have it, folks, my interview with bassist extraordinaire Glenn Hughes. Absolutely always a pleasure to talk to Glenn. Please check out his upcoming tour dates later this summer, and check me out on Twitter at Mitch Lafon and on Facebook, one-on-one Mitch Lafon. And thank you for listening. Hope you enjoyed this interview. And please come back next week, next episode. There's always more. For now, though, it is time to say goodbye. So bye for now.